Good morning. You may be seated. This is group 1, correct?
Yes.
Good morning. My name is David Servin. I'm an attorney in Highland. I live in Munster. I'm the chairman of this panel, and before I read the question, I'd like to have everybody else introduce themselves, and then if you'd be kind enough to introduce yourselves.
I'm Sue Lazar. I'm a retired speech pathologist for Whiting and I live in Munster also.
My name is Rayanna Spahn. I'm an attorney with State Farm, so I do insurance defense. Also, prior to that, I was prosecutor in Marion County, which is in Indianapolis.
My name is Isabella Bargos. I'm in 8th grade.
My name is Natalia Prato. I'm in 8th grade.
My name is Jivana Labovich, and I'm in 7th grade.
My name is Alonzo William Pales, and I'm in 7th grade.
My name is Shania Brink. I'm in 7th grade.
Thank you. Unit 1. Most nations have a constitution, but they do not all have constitutional governments. How might people organize a constitutional government to prevent the abuse of power? Give an example of a nation in today's world that you think is not a constitutional government. Give reasons for your choice.
Alexander Hamilton once said, "Give all the power to the many, and they will oppress the few. Give all the power to the few, and they will oppress the many." The founders believed in this, and a constitutional government. Constitutional governments can be organized in a complicated way, and as a result, getting things done may take time. However, when the government does finally make a decision, it will be well thought out. When people attempt to organize a constitutional government to prevent the abuse of power, one characteristic is separating the powers of government. This means that the powers of government are divided among different branches: the legislative branch, the executive branch, and the judicial branch.
The legislative branch has the power to make laws, the executive branch has the power to carry out and enforce the laws, and the judicial branch has the power to manage conflicts about meeting, application, and enforcement of laws. To further separate powers, the legislative branch or Congress is also divided into 2 houses: the House of Representatives and the Senate. The House of Representatives has the power to develop bills, and the Senate has the power to accept or reject bills. Each branch has its own powers, but they also have limits. The executive branch checks the legislative branch by vetoing bills. The judicial branch can also check the legislative branch by declaring if a law is unconstitutional.
The legislative branch can check the judicial branch by picking judges from nominees. The executive branch can check the judicial branch by nominating potential judges. The judicial branch can check the executive branch by telling them how to enforce the laws. And the legislative branch can get 2/3 of Congress's vote to override the executive branch's veto. As you can see, powers are limited, separated, and checked by each branch. Having different branches prevents any one person or group from having all the power and places limits on each one. This means that the power of government is divided in a way that no one branch can control the other branches. Also, when organizing a constitutional government, the founders believed in including some important characteristics like popular sovereignty, along with the basic rights of citizens to life, liberty, and property. It also establishes the responsibilities of government and provides people the right to life, liberty, and property, and places limits on how people in government may use their powers and limit citizens' rights.
For example, government officials cannot unfairly deprive a person of the right to freedom of speech. They cannot take a person's property without paying a fair price for it, and they must give all people accused of a crime a fair trial. The Constitution also establishes the principle of private domain, which is a part of a person's life that is not the government's business. It can only be changed with widespread consent of citizens and according set procedures. Again, organizing a government to abuse power. A nation in today's world that is not a constitutional government is North Korea. North Korea has a dictatorship, which is a type of government in which the ruler has total power over the country.
In this type of government, the dictator is not restricted by a constitution with any limit or any laws restricting his actions. North Korea is widely accused of having one of the worst human rights records in the world. There are severe restrictions placed on the political and economic freedoms, mainly on freedom of association, expression, and movement. North Korea also tortures people. They have capital punishment, including public executions. A constitutional government is nothing like a dictatorship because it gives the Constitution the authority to limit the use of power the government has, but a dictatorship abuses power. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. I think we have some follow-up questions now on the presentation.
You seemed very well prepared and enjoyed your information. Is it appropriate for the government to pass laws limiting our First Amendment rights?
I think that usually the government should not limit our First Amendment, but under certain circumstances, I think it is okay. For example, in the case Abrams versus United States, when Jacob Abrams was passing out leaflets that opposed the war and criticized President Woodrow Wilson, and that caused people to start to protest and not show up to their jobs, and the court ruled that they can limit his First Amendment right because it caused a clear and present danger. And they had said when you are causing harm to others, they are allowed to limit your First Amendment.
Also, another example is in a more current event when Michael Brown's stepfather got up on a stage and he was leading his protesters, and he was saying, "Burn this place down," and that was causing harm to other people around them, to the store owners. And there needs to be a balance between your rights and other people's rights.
I do agree with Eve and Gina. You should never limit it, but if you're causing danger, like if you yell fire in a movie theater, you shouldn't. You should limit it, but they're causing danger and people are going crazy because there's going to be a fire in a movie theater.
Considering there are First Amendments and they are giving us the freedom to peacefully assemble and freedom of speech and religion, I don't think they should be limited unless there is clear and present danger happening.
I also feel not just in clear and present danger, but for example in school, our First Amendment gives us the right to express ourselves. We have the freedom of expression, freedom of speech, but there are certain times when, for example, dyeing your hair a certain color or wearing a certain clothes can distract other students. And I feel that that's another instance where our First Amendment rights can be limited because the purpose of school is to learn. So the children should be focused on learning as opposed to what they're wearing.
And explain a time in our history when the federal government went beyond the limitations placed on it.
An example is the Japanese internment camps when they took them to the camp and they deprived them of natural rights and they didn't have freedom of speech and freedom of religion. They didn't have it. I feel like it went too far for that.
Also, the situation was at Handle when the government finally realized what they were doing was very unnecessary and unconstitutional.
Another example is slavery. They took away their First Amendment rights and their natural rights to life, liberty, and property. And I feel that that was very unconstitutional. And it was resolved when Abraham Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation.
Another example is women's suffrage when women weren't given the right to vote, and I believe they were taking away their right to life and liberty and freedom of speech, and it was resolved when the 19th Amendment was established, which gave women the right to vote.
You talked about North Korea, and it's not a or Republican form of government. What if the folks wanted to change it? What do you suggest they do in order to change things there?
Go ahead.
I think that they should tell the government what they think and their dictator, and there can be many consequences to that because there are so many different things that they cannot do there. So I think that to get what they want and to have a say in their government, they should protest and tell the dictator what they think is right.
I agree. I think they should peacefully protest, and that's a really good way to get your point out because you're not violently protesting and you're not harming anyone. You're just saying your opinion, and I think that's really big because you should have a say in your government.
Well, this may be a little off topic, but there's three branches of government that we have. Which one is the most important?
I would think that the legislative branch is very important because they can make the laws, and when our laws protect us and give us our rights and protect our rights, so I think the legislative branch is very important.
I agree with Eva, but I also feel that there's a reason we have checks and balances. Each of the branches has equal power, and they have the right to check and balance each other. And I feel like if you think of most important, you would go straight to executive. You would think of the president because he's in charge of the country. But he can't enforce the laws if the legislative branch doesn't make them and if the judicial branch doesn't check them and explain them. So I feel like they are all equally important.
I agree with Natalia because the legislative branch checks the the judicial branch checks the executive branch by telling them how to enforce the laws. So I think, actually the legislative branch, and I feel that they are more important because they're telling people how to enforce the laws and they also create the laws.
What responsibilities does a citizen have in a constitutional government? And explain your answer.
Some responsibilities that citizens have in a constitutional government are we must obey the laws and we should respect the rights of others and respect them and not violate them. And we should also, when we are called upon to serve on a jury, we should go because that is one of our rights and one of our responsibilities.
Time.
Time? God, you guys were great.
Oh. I thought so too.
I was very impressed. You know, you get 3 questions, you don't know which one it is, and you nailed it. You know, you did a great job. Everybody, eye contact, you know, not reading from a script, participation. You know, you guys were great. I've been doing this for
Thank you.
20 years, but for a middle school, man, you were better than a lot of high schools.
Outstanding.
Congratulations.
Outstanding.
Thank you.
You all are very articulate and did a wonderful job.
Yeah, you should be very proud of your teacher, because, and the participation of the folks too, that's great. Good luck, Paul.